Okay, good evening, everybody. It's a quarter after 10 here in Zhongshan. Sunday night, time for another live stream because I'm not going to be able to do this very much over the next couple weeks, I think. But I wanted to wish everyone back home. Hope you're all doing well. I hope you're all staying safe. I woke up this morning at pretty early to give my parents a call. So everyone knows September 11th and all the memorials and the speeches and going on back home. And it was still September 11th in America when I woke up this morning, September 12th here in China, to wish my parents a happy 50th wedding anniversary. Yeah, their anniversary is on September 11th. And they had a nice barbecue in the backyard of the ranch. And so I did a little FaceTime with them, and that was good to see them. They look happy. They look healthy. A lot of the family was there. Some good eats. The ranch looks beautiful. It looked like a beautiful day back home in Southern California. So once again, happy anniversary to my mother and father. I love you guys, and I really, really wish I could have been there. Having a FaceTime with them, I don't do it very often. I try to call home and talk to them and share my life, here in China. And normally I would be home. This is as many years as I've spent away from home in my life. This is the longest stretch I've spent away from America for obvious reasons. But it was good to see them. It was good to see the family and all the friends and say hi. So that being said, I hope all of you had a wonderful weekend or enjoying your weekend. I think it's Sunday morning back in America. And I have a lot going on here that I'm going to share with you guys. I hope you've enjoyed my latest videos. I have one more video from Hangzhou that I'm currently editing. And I don't think I'm going to get it done within the next week. So there won't be any videos coming out on my channel for a week. So let me tell you why. Tomorrow, I will be going to the southern part of Zhongshan to a town called Sanxiang. I've been there before, to the Zhongshan Hot Springs Resort. I'll be spending about 3 days there, 2 nights, 3 days, at a video awards conference. This is a China National Video Awards where a lot of independent vloggers and also professional video makers, a lot of media types will be there to accept awards. And one of the videos that I was involved in, if you watch my channel, you've seen my bridge video. That was an independently produced one that I made for myself. But while doing that, I also helped to produce another video on the same topic. And that video has won first prize on a national level for Lingding culture and Guangdong itself. It's kind of a big deal. So I didn't have much involvement with the production of that video, but I was there while it was being produced, and I'm part of it. I'm the face of that video. And so I will be going down there to cheer on the cameraman, the producer, the director, the editor, as well as give a speech. They've given me the honor of giving a speech to the conference, talking about my experience of going out on that bridge and out to the island. Again, if you haven't watched that video, please do. It's of all the videos I've made, and I've made over 600 of them in my channel, the Shenzhen-Zhongshan Link Bridge video is probably my favorite one and the one I'm most proud of doing. Nobody watched it, but it's an incredible infrastructure project that's happening in my backyard. So I've been trying to get access to that bridge to make a video for years, and I finally got access to it. And so I put an awful lot of heart and soul into the production of it. And I hope you like it. The interesting thing about that is, okay, so the Shenzhen-Zhongshan Link Bridge connecting Zhongshan and Shenzhen across the Pearl River Delta is about 3 years from completion. It's literally in the heart of the construction right now. I mean, it's like halfway done. Once that bridge is done, they actually have proposed yet another sea bridge to connect both sides of the Pearl River Delta. I don't have a photo of it, but you can look it up, and it's going to be called the Zhuhai Shenzhen link. So you have the Hong Kong Zhuhai Macau bridge, which is the longest one, and it's really, really fascinating. But again, nobody drives on that road really, because you have to have multiple licenses and insurances for Macau and Hong Kong and the mainland. So it's very rare that it's used, other than maybe for commercial use and some very wealthy people who can afford all of that. The Shenzhen Zhongshan Bridge, however, will be heavily used by everybody. And then after that, the Zhuhai Shenzhen link will be built, which will be bigger than the Shenzhen Zhongshan link. So over the next couple of decades, you're going to see some massive engineering projects linking both sides of the Pearl River Delta. It's kind of an exciting time to be here if you're a fan of engineering and infrastructure projects like I am. So yeah, all that being said, I had a hell of a day today. I didn't have anything planned really, but I ended up running around all day long because I needed to rent a car. So I'll get into some photos here. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. Hi, Mona. Good evening. Hello, Rusty. Thank you for joining me. Okay, let's share some photos real quick. Okay, so I got I don't have much in the terms of news. Okay, so this is me in a tow truck. So last weekend we were supposed to go to Dongguan for the Dongguan pool party, but it was canceled. Ooh, it's hot today. So instead we went to Chanlong in Guangzhou in Panyu to the safari park, and I got some photos of that. But and I'll share that with you in a second. But on the way back from the safari park, on the highway, my car overheated, and I pulled off the side of the road, and it turned out it was just a busted radiator hose. So although I had my car in the shop recently to replace a radiator fan, which it wasn't dead, but it was kind of dying a little bit. Simple, very easy fix. Less than a week later, the radiator hose, just a small little crack, and no coolant was getting to the engine. So I had that fixed. And during the fix, I just said, you know what, we've got a lot of work to do on the car because it's coming up on about 140,000 kilometers. It's a Mitsubishi engine in this Havel. It's 10 years old, and it's time to replace the timing belt. And this is if you know cars, this is a routine maintenance issue that you have to do when an engine reaches a certain amount of use. If you don't do it, and the timing belt breaks inside of the engine, then it will destroy your engine, and you have to have the whole thing replaced. So this is something that every person who has a used car, I think most cars have a belt. If I'm not mistaken, I think a lot of the Nissan engines use a timing chain, so they actually last longer. But for the most part, most engines need a timing belt change, and this is not a cheap or easy fix for most cars. If you have a used car and you're trying to sell it, a lot of people will say, hey, when was the timing belt changed, right? So they've taken the engine apart. I was just there today to look at it. This is just today. They've taken the engine apart, and they've started the process of doing this. They're replacing one of the valves, and doing a couple of other fixes. You can see there I got a brand new radiator hose on there, just cleaning it up, making it look good. It's going to take about a few days to get this done. I had to wait for the parts to come and all that stuff. So I needed to rent a car. So today I went through the process. Oh, before I did that, I was at the Havel dealership and I saw this, and I love this. This is the Great Wall pickup truck. It's the largest pickup truck, not commercial pickup truck, but the largest, pickup truck on the market, I guess you could say, right? They do sell this in other markets. I believe they sell it in Australia. I know they sell it in Australia. It's gotten quite good reviews in Australia. I think they might sell it in South Africa too. Here's the interior. And you can see here it's got a 6-speed manual transmission. So this is a base model pickup. This is not 4-wheel drive. It's 2-wheel drive, completely base model. Another angle. It's a really good looking truck. I mean, it's not quite as big as my old Toyota Tundra. I had a first generation or second generation Toyota Tundra back in the day, but it is bigger than a Tacoma and stuff like that. It's about the same size as a Dakota, I guess. And I looked at the price, and it was about 128,000 RMB, which is about $20,000. A little more than 20,000. Well, around $20,000, I guess. Don't ask me to do math on a Sunday night, but I loved it. That's one thing when you send your car to the shop, you wait around and then you peruse the offerings in the showroom. And I saw this. I would love to have this. I really would, but I'm putting this work into my car to extend the engine. And back home, I don't know how much a timing belt will cost back home nowadays, but it's like $90 an hour for the labor, and it can be almost $1,000. I think it was a little over $900 to replace timing belts on my old 91 Toyota pickup truck back in the day. That was almost 20 years ago. So I'm paying about $400 for all of this work to be done. And they're going to do some paint work too, because I scratched the bumper. So they're going to fix that as well. Pretty good price. And so this just means that I will be keeping my little SUV for a little longer. I did have plans to replace the SUV with a newer model in Spring Festival. That's still the plan, but I might keep it because I had the experience of renting a car today, and I'll tell you the car I rented, and it kind of turned me off to the whole idea of replacing my current vehicle with a newer model, because I love my 10-year-old Havel. I love that car. I got it perfectly situated for myself. I love the infotainment system. I love the shifter. It's not a fast car, but it feels heavy. It feels sturdy. It's comfortable for me. I think it still looks really good for a 10-year-old vehicle. This is the one that I rented. This is a Borgward BX7. It is a 7-seater. So, and if you don't know Borgward, it's an old German brand that way back, like 100 years ago, was like a huge deal in Germany. They went out of business, I want to say in the late 60s, early 70s. I can't remember. And then the grandson of the owner partnered with a Chinese company. I can't remember which one. It might have been Bike, Beijing Automotive. I can't remember, to produce these. And they came out with 2 models, and they came out with a compact one called the BX5, which this red one behind you can see there. Let me blow it up a little bit. And it's a good looking vehicle. I really like the compact one. This is the larger one, and I think I was paying something like 90 renminbi a day, plus a little bit more for insurance, to rent this. This is a 2018 model, I believe, and it had 105,000 kilometers on it. It's a rental car, so it's kind of got dings and scratches, and the interior pieces are kind of falling apart, and it smells like cigarettes inside. I was less than impressed with the condition of the car, but I was impressed with the car itself. It feels like a good German car, and I know that when they produced this car, there's some old Saab 9.3 underpinnings, because when Saab went out of business, I guess they had to sell off some of their tooling and stuff like that, and so there's some old Saab elements to it. And when I drove it, it really did feel kind of like a Saab, driving a Saab, the powertrain at least. It was really interesting. 2.0 liter, a little over 200 horsepower. It had a little pretty good, driving experience. The steering was a little vague. I got about 15 to 20 minutes driving in this thing today, and I was going to make a video. I was researching Borgward and the history, and I was going to make a video about the Borgward brand. This summer, there was some rumors that Borgward was going to go bankrupt, and then like 2 days later, they said, no, that's not the case. Their sales are really, really down. They had plans of selling hundreds of thousands of units a year, of course, and I think they're down to like 5,000. So they're good looking cars too. I really like the design of them. Again, this one, the upkeep was just not there. Unfortunately, it was just it needed some tender love and care, and it didn't have that. Here's the interior of the car. As you can see, it kind of looks very German. It looks a little Audi-ish. A lot of pieces look very Audi-ish. It was designed by the folks in Europe, in Germany, and yeah, for the most part, it was a very competent SUV. And then the check engine light came on. So I need to keep this car for a week because I'm going on a road trip to Shantou and Na'ao Island this week after the video awards in Zhongshan. I'm going to spend about 5 days on the road doing some camping and some hiking and exploring the east side of Guangdong. It'll be my last trip before I go back to the classroom and start teaching again. And with the check engine light came on and the recent issues that I've had with my own car, I said, and the fact that it smelt like cigarettes and the steering wheel is just a little sticky in there. And I just said, no, I don't think I can handle this. I took it back to the guys and they gave me this. Considerably cheaper. This is a 2021 Volkswagen La Vida. And 2 years ago, this was the best-selling car in China. They sold over 500,000 of these 2 years ago. I think it's ranked like number 4 or 5 this year. And it's a compact little car. No frills. This is a base model. It's slow. It's brand new. It's only got 3,000 kilometers on it. It got a nice, pleasant smell. It's no cruise control. They think they retail for about 112,000 renminbi around there. But it's only produced for the Chinese market. And I'll do a video on this instead because it is a very boring car. Don't get me wrong. It's a nice car. It drives competently. I mean, it's a base. It's the 2021 base car with minimum frills in it. There's not much to this car. Automatic. It's like a 6-speed automatic transmission. It's comfortable enough, but the seats don't really move too much. It doesn't have very much in terms of electronics. It's got one USB port to either charge or input. It does have Apple CarPlay, but a tiny, tiny little screen. My iPad is bigger than the screen. My iPad mini is bigger than the screen in this thing. I actually like Mona's Toyota Corolla much, much better. It has better comfortable seats, better interior and stuff. So I was joking with Mona earlier. I was going to say, oh, we're going to make a video called China's best-selling boring vehicle. But I think it might be interesting to make a video about this and how it holds up on the road trip because we're going to take this to Shantou next week. And we're going to hopefully do some camping. I got my gear. A little barbecue set there. I still have to go through this. I'm not leaving until Thursday. We're going to take off on Thursday. We're going to try and get out there before the Mid-Autumn Festival holiday because that would mean lots of people. So we're hoping that the weekend will be less people out on the island and we can enjoy some relaxation and see some sights. We're going to eat a lot of Hakka food and go camping on the beach. That's the plan, at least. But we're going to do it in this tiny little car. All right. By the way, so the process of renting a car. Let's answer some questions here real quick. Okay. So Rick says, I just saw your videos today. Do you go live daily? No, I don't. I try to do it once a week, but it turns out it's more like once or twice a month. Sorry. Focus. Maybe not enough light in here. Hold on, guys. I'm going to try something new. Let me turn on, because I got a little spotlight here and a little light here, but that doesn't seem to be enough for this camera. Let me see if I can. I'm going to turn on I have these track lights up here that were installed. Let me see if I can turn those on and see if it makes the makes it a little better. Here, let's close this. You can't see outside anyways, right? So close that. All right. Turn the track lights on. Maybe that'll help with the focus issues that I've been having with my camera. A little bit, maybe. Okay. Behind me, some of you asked me about this. I got this in Gujin. This is a really cool little lamp. It's electric. And by the way, I've made a video already, produced one for the city or the town of Gujin and the lighting industry there. I have one that I've finished. It's in the can. I've been working on it for weeks. It won't be edited for another 2 or 3 weeks and come out. But it's about the lighting industry in Gujin, which is just massively huge. Everyone seemed. I got so much cooperation from the Zhongshan Foreign Advisory Council, Lihe Plaza, 3 or 4 factory visits, as well as many design studios that let me film inside of their design studios and are going to allow me to show the world some of these design studios. That's like unprecedented access. Wait till you see it. It's incredible. Anyways, this is one of them. It's really cool. I'll just show you. It's electric. At its lowest setting, okay, it'll last about 160 hours. Okay. At its brightest setting, it'll be about 8 hours. So this is really cool design. I love it. I pick it up and take it all around the studio here, right? But I love it because if you turn it on this way, it turns off. And like that, it turns on. And then there's an added little feature that they put into this where if you can blow it out like a candle. Come on, blow out. There it is. Okay. You can blow it out like a candle. Really cool. All right. So yeah, no, sorry, Rick. I only live stream when I feel like it. We've talked about it, making this a regular thing. It's never been able to become a regular thing because my schedule is so crazy. And we were talking about making it a weekly thing on Tuesday nights here in Zhongshan and have guests on. I've already talked with Snarky and from Ube and a couple of other guys that would be willing to come on and be my guest. A couple of car guys as well. Wheels Boy said he would join me, and it would be a great thing. I have to wait until the term starts and I get my lecture schedule. Once my lecture schedule is put in place over the next 3.5, 4 months, then I can make Behind the Rojo Rope a regular thing. That's what I would want to do. I'm live streaming tonight because I'm home, and I'm going to be gone for the next 9 days, 8 or 9 days, and I won't be putting out any videos during this time because I'm going to be on the road. I'll be filming a lot, but there won't be any videos to my vlog over the next week. And I try to put out a minimum of 1 to 2 videos a week, just because I love it. But every now and then I need to recharge my batteries. All right. What's your favorite Chinese brand car? Good question. I currently, I like Haval. I love my Haval. I think I like the designs. I think they're great cars. Mine's a 10-year-old one. I love the new ones. I'm a fan of the new H6. However, I'm turned off by the interior a little bit, just the design of the interior, but I think the exterior is beautiful. They just came out with an H6 Sport version, which is like a coupe version of a it was just, I just saw it. It looks freaking awesome. It looks fast. It looks beastly, but it's a coupe version. It's not my thing. So I like the Great Wall products a lot. Chinese brands. Yeah. As far as the newer brands, the EV brands, everyone knows I'm a fan of Li Xiang. Neos are beautiful. Neos are really high-end cars. Just not sold on pure electric, personally. Geely. I spent a lot of time around Geely. A couple of their products I really like. Xingyue L is one of the most beautiful interior cars I've ever sat in, Chinese interior cars, for the money. I mean, it's incredible. And of course, you saw that I drove the Zeekr, and that's a pure electric car. But man, what an amazing car! If I were to buy an electric car tomorrow, it would be the Zeekr 001. It would definitely. But if you can't get your hands on one because they're all sold out, uh, there's a lot of anticipation for the Zeekr. But Zeekr on the SEA platform, they're just starting with this. They're going to release a lot of new electric vehicles, including, I'm assuming, an SUV, uh, and pickup trucks, perhaps a van version, like a minivan version. So there's a lot of stuff coming out of that Zeekr brand. Lynk & Co is excellent. Lynk & Co, it's amazing. They have like 9 vehicles in their lineup, and there's not one of them I don't like. They're, as far as design goes, I think they're a little young and loud for my taste, but man, they good cars. They really are. I drove the 01 for a few days in Hangzhou, the PHEV, and I loved it. It was great. Okay. Chinese consumers had obsession on Germany cars. That's why the Levita is the best-selling car, and also they brought Borgward just to take advantage of its German origin. Yeah. Well, the Borgward thing was a joint venture to try to revive the brand with Borgward himself, the Borgward family, and definitely, Chinese believe that Germans make the best cars. You ask most, they say Mercedes, BMW, Audi, Volkswagen, and Volkswagen sells so much in China. They've got like 2 different JV partnerships with major producers, and I think the largest one being Shanghai, and then of course there's the imported ones. So Volkswagen, they could put a cardboard box with 4 wheels and people would buy it. It's a safe vehicle. I mean, the engines are bulletproof, the Volkswagens. There's parts galore. They're not expensive vehicles, and they blend in. I mean, you can see this white one. There's it's a million, there's a dime a dozen out in a parking lot. One that looks like this, everyone buys them. So you don't. It's a good quality car that you don't have to explain to your neighbors why you bought it. Everyone knows. Oh, you bought a reliable car. Same thing with buying like a Toyota Corolla or a Camry. So that's the same reason. First owner Borgward got bankrupt again, so the brand sold to Shenzhou, the car rental company you take. Yeah, the car rental company, you can see there, Zucha. I think that's what it's called. Reviving. He believed Toyota and BMW will go out of business on account they did not prepare for the EV market. Maybe that's a big take. I'm not sold that the future is obviously going that direction, but I'm not sold that right now EV is the way to go. It's still the internal combustion engine is still the king on the road. I think plug-in hybrids are what is the sweet spot right now, because you can get 30 to 40 kilometers on some of these plug-in hybrids, which will take you to and from work on electric. And if you're on the highway, the engine's running and you're charging the electric, you go home, you plug it in. And so a tank of gas will last you forever if you're just using it as a daily commute. But it also has the capability on a road trip to just walk in, fill up, and go. So I think that is the best thing right now is the plug-in hybrid, because it offers so many more options. I'm a fan of electric cars for their performance, and I think that they are the future. But living with an electric car, I think, would be a little inconvenient for me and most people in China, because we all live in high rises. Most people in China live in an apartment building. The charging stations, there's 2 main charging stations in my complex. The one at the mall entrance, which is right at the front of the entrance, and there's maybe 8 stations there, and they're constantly filled with regular internal combustion engine cars. So if you have an electric car and you want to charge it, you can't do it because those spots are taken up by other people. So that's very, very frustrating if you're an electric car owner. The other one is outside on the parking lot next to the mall, and you could usually get a spot there, especially in the morning. But in the morning, it is filled with the DD drivers, and they have a lot of Dongfeng and a lot of Geely charging their cars for the morning. And you see them all out there, hanging out, eating McDonald's, drinking some coffee, waiting and getting ready to go. So it's just not right for me, and I think it's not right for most people if you don't have a dedicated spot to plug it in, which most people don't. Yes, you're all right. The one that I think would have the best position to overtake Tesla in China would be BYD. I just think they have the vertical integration into their business. NIO is a premium brand, but they just don't have the capacity to beat Tesla right now. And quite frankly, Tesla is still the leader as far as the technology goes, in my opinion. It could be an objective opinion. I honestly, I don't know enough yet. But you put it all together, all the brands are releasing electric vehicles. There's an electric version of the Levita that's out, So you put it all together, and they might beat Tesla. The Wuling Hongguang is outselling the Tesla right now, but it's hard to compare Wuling EV Hongguang two-seater to a Tesla Model 3 or a Model Y. They're just night and day. It's like I rode in a friend of mine's Cherry EV. It was a EV that's got a few years on it, 6 or 7 years, and it's a high mileage EV. It's still going, but there were a lot of problems. The car was falling apart. So there's an awful lot of used EVs, cheap used EVs, hitting the secondhand market here in China that, quite frankly, should probably be scrapped. That generation 10 years ago, any kind of EV that came out is miles behind what the Chinese brands are producing today, which are world-class cars. I truly believe that. Okay, let's do some more photos. Let's talk about this. So in Chailong and Guangzhou, we stayed at the Chanlong Hotel next to the safari park. It is a hotel that is, and there is a video coming out about it, of course, the whole weekend. The hotel is one of the older Chanlong hotels, but it's also, I think, the most adult. It didn't have, you stay at Chanlong, it's like staying at Disneyland hotels. It didn't have like little cartoons and things like that. This one had like white tigers roaming around a park-like setting behind the front desk. It was a huge enclosure with tigers running around, and it was really, really nice. But it was old. It's well over 10 years old. It's 1,500 rooms, making it one of the largest hotels in the country outside of Macau. Macau has super large hotels. So if you're not including Macau, the Chanlong hotels are some of the largest. And this thing had multiple wings. This is in the lobby. This is oh man, I can't remember the brand. Is it Anta? I can't remember the brand now. It's one of the Chinese sports brands, like Nike. They're very popular, and they make pretty good stuff. But I looked at this, and I just hated the designs. And I saw this, and I immediately thought of this. This is Idiocracy. The and I'm like, oh man, are we headed towards Idiocracy with our fashion? Oh man, I hate to say it. It was just this display, but there were a lot of the clothes in this display were that way. I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting old, getting too old for this stuff. Here is the lobby, an incredibly beautiful lobby. I loved it. It's unique in its design in that the front desk is a four-sided box in the center of the room. Very safari-like style. You can see the tigers on the top. The engraved in the top there. Most people don't even see that. Wonderful service, great service at this hotel. Costs about $120 a night to stay on a Saturday night. And that included breakfast, which was good. Breakfast was pretty good. But you eat breakfast with the tigers. And the breakfast, I got a picture of it, actually. Hold on a second. This is the breakfast location here. You can see, I didn't get a good picture of them, but you can see there's a white tiger and they just bring them there for breakfast, and they're eating too. This is their feeding time. So you're watching these white tigers eat while you eat your breakfast, and then they take them back into the big, huge enclosure that they have there. Fascinating. I mean, that alone, I think, is worth the money to eat with tigers. That was so cool. I got another one here. I mean, they come right up to you. That's through a window, though, of course. But, fascinating to watch them eat while you're trying to eat your bacon, Oh, thank you, Mona. It was leaning. Okay. I didn't know which one it was, leaning and to one of those. Yeah, thank you. Do you think electric cars will eventually take over gas cars? Maybe. I don't know. I honestly don't know. Maybe not in my lifetime. Maybe in my lifetime. I just know where we are at right now. There's just as much as they put infrastructure out there for us to use in the cities, even in California. It's still not enough to support the amount of EVs they want to put on the road. The infrastructure, I'm talking charging stations. So if everyone had a charging station in their home, I still don't think it would be enough. So we got a long, long way to go. A long, long way to go. And every day I see new charging stations being put out into the city here. I mean, there'll be a little area where there used to be a tea shop, an independent, like, little building tea shop in the walkway, for the mall, and they'll tear that down. They'll put a EV charging station there. So they are trying to do it, and most of the service areas on the highways have charging stations there too, but there aren't many ports. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes down. A lot of EV cars. I think last year and the year before that, I think I saw a lot more EV cars on the road. But now my impression when I'm out in the city is that, I mean, it could just be my eyes, but I see a lot of the newer cars are all plug-in hybrids and full internal combustion gas engines. So a lot of the new cars I see, with the little temporary plates, are of that configuration. They still see a lot of electric cars, okay, but I felt like there were more electric cars being sold last year than this year. I know that's not the case when you look at the numbers. The numbers show that there are more electric cars every year, but I don't know. Again, it's probably just me. Okay, what do I got here? This is the swimming pool. I was thoroughly disappointed with the swimming pool. It's a nice pool. It was a hot day to go for a little swim. But you can see here, this is supposed to be a swim up bar. And I wanted to go there. We had a Saturday afternoon, and I just wanted to go to the swimming pool and relax and, really just kind of, I was still recovering from my back spasm injuries. So I wanted to sit and go for a leisurely swim, have a little snack, maybe a beer. And they don't serve food for a 5-star hotel. They don't serve food at the swimming pool. They don't serve drinks. And that little swim up bar that you see there, that is actually for the lifeguards. The lifeguards have taken it over, and it's their little hut. It's their little clubhouse. So, and to be honest, they were a little rude at times, but a very nice swimming pool to go for a swim. They advertise a jacuzzi, but they didn't have one. The jacuzzi was not hot. That's par for the course. It's now like a little kiddie pool. There's supposed to be waterfall elements, but the waterfall elements are turned off. This is very common for older hotels in China. They opened with great fanfare with all the kinds of amazing amenities. If you can get to a brand new hotel the first few months that it's open, do it, because that's the best you'll ever see it. And then they start scaling back a lot of the amenities and a lot of the water elements. I saw it in some of the restaurants that we were in. You can tell that there were a lot of water elements that were supposed to be filled. They were not. And this hotel is so big that it's just too big for its britches. That makes sense. All right. The safari park was great. I mean, we went and saw the pandas. Now, I'd been to the safari park once 5 years ago. It was one of the very first places I went to. I had like a day off, took the train up to Guangdong because it's 30 minutes north on the high-speed rail, to come here. And I was thoroughly impressed with the quality of this zoo. Some zoos, not just in China, but throughout the world, are just sad. But here, they're all well taken care of. The pens are really, really nice. They're very large, and they're very well fed. It's a first-class facility. So I liked that about Chanlong. And, of course, the panda exhibit is a huge part there. They've got education centers. They've showed how they had these triplets that were raised. I remember 5 years ago seeing them. They were about this big, and they were running around with the keepers. And now the pandas are full grown, and they're just lazy bears, man. They just sit there and they gnaw and they eat. But they did some posing for us, man. They did. That was great. Of course, the Asian elephants are a wonderful thing to see. This is the lake at the safari park. This is taken from one of the sky trams. So you can get from one end of the park to the other on the sky tram. The snakes. I love the snakes. This is at the entrance of the snake exhibit. And they got Mona doesn't like Mona doesn't like snakes, but they got some really, really cool reptiles there. And then we went out to dinner. I think this is the night before we went out to dinner. We went to this Mediterranean place. I can't remember what these are called, but they were pretty good. It's like a ground beef and pork, minced ground beef and pork with another vegetable, and it's wrapped in this grape leaf. And it's super, super juicy inside. And they were delicious, man. It was just a restaurant that was recommended to Mona from a friend, and we took a little DD over there, had a glass of wine, a really luxurious dinner. And then after the this is us on the flying tram going over. That was cool. It was nice. And then after the safari park, we went to the circus. If you don't know, Chanlong has an international circus, and they have one in Guangzhou and they have one in Zhuhai. And everyone told me that they were really, really good shows. And I'd never been. So we went. It was a Sunday night, so there was hardly anybody there. In fact, before the show, the little clown came over and dragged me up on stage, and I had to give a little, I had to do a little dance or something like that. It was a good sport. It was Mona made sure to take lots of video of it, so it'll probably be in the video. But, had a lot of fun. So this is like some guy they pulled out of the audience. I believe he was part of the show, and they made him, dive. You can see this dude right here. He's going to just basically tackle him and throw him into the water. I believe that he's part of the show personally. But so there were probably 100 different performers. Most of them seemed to be from Russia. There were a few that were... most of them seem to be European. There were a few that were, I think, like South American. Of course, they had the African acrobats, so they were all a bunch of black guys that were doing tumbles and stuff. They were really, really good. Incredible first class show. One of the best shows I think I've ever seen. I was blown away. I did not expect to like it as much as I did. They had animals that come out. They had tigers and a giant hippopotamus and elephants and giraffes, and the performances were. I mean, I was watching it in amazement, and I'm a hard guy to please when it comes to stuff like this. The staging was great. The lighting effects, the music was fun. They had the water effects, everything for a good circus show. It was a circus in the traditional sense in many ways, but with a modern twist. It was cool. I dug it. Teacher's Day was last week. I went and got some sushi, and they gave me a little pumpkin pie. So a little food porn for you guys real quick. I did go to Friends Bar last week. They just completed their new barbecue area. This is a new buddy of mine, and he was cooking up some steaks and some sausages. So I'm eating well. And then just this afternoon, there was the Foreign Advisory Council participated in an event, kind of a mid-autumn festival kind of thing, and they had street burgers there that look like this. So I talked about street burgers in my hamburger hunt videos. So street burgers was there, grilling up some burgers. These are so good. These burgers are on par as a gourmet hamburger. It's not a great picture. The bun's a little broken there, but cheese, lettuce, pickle, tomato, onion, and bacon. This one is bacon, and then there's also a kind of a spicy mustard sauce on it as well. It's that thick, and they're selling them outside the university, a block from here, for 18 renminbi a piece. 18 renminbi for something like that. I mean, it beats the hell out of anything you're going to get at McDonald's or Burger King or any of the other hamburger places that sell hamburgers for, $5, $6, $7, all the way up to $15. The hotel sells it for over $20, and this one's better, and it's 18 renminbi. It's less than $3, and it's a block from me. I'm a happy man, but I'm also know that I'm gonna. It's not good for losing weight. I love China. I did go by the university this afternoon. Show you an update of the construction. That's what it looks like outside my apartment at the university. So you can understand why living there kind of sucks. It's just too damn noisy. The excavation is done. They've started pouring some of the foundation for the building on the right. They've actually gone vertical. The building, a total of 5 buildings in this one little area. And these are giant towers. They're going to be 20 stories plus tall. The building straight on the other side of the construction, that's the library. You can see they've gone vertical here on this one. That's a smaller little building. This one's going to be a massive. These are all classroom buildings. And then right here's another perspective. Last term, they built this catwalk thing here that I couldn't sleep. They've gone vertical here. This is a boys' dorm. The poor guys who have to live in this one get the brunt of it, really do, because these heavy machinery, and you can see they're going to start going vertical with this tower, with the steel on this tower very soon. And it's going to be a terrible place to live. Yeah, Billy sees that's what it looks like right now, man. Crazy, isn't it? Yeah, I sent that to David today too. Showed David what the progress is. He's still in England, but yeah, crazy. I just got your stream. Forgive me if this has been asked before, but how does the new rules on private commercial education affect you? It doesn't affect me because I teach at a university. So, I've never taught children. I don't want to teach children. It's mostly affecting the training centers who focus on primary school education, and that's the vast majority of them. The vast majority of private training centers are for primary school, middle school, and high schoolers, and those are the ones that have been affected. And all the teachers, they're closing. I mean, just today, a buddy of mine sent me another video of a very prominent training center that is closing because they're cutting their losses. I mean, they can still operate until the end of the year. The government gave them to the end of the year to become non-profit, but they also come out with new rules regarding salaries for these training center teachers. Basically, they want them to be on par with a public school teachers. Traditionally, training centers pay a lot more, but then of course you work a lot harder. But now it's a real deal. It's definitely devastated a massive education industry, and it's affected a lot of people here. It doesn't affect me because I work at the university, so it hasn't affected me at all, really. Good question, though. And there's a lot of reports, by the way, that are coming out that they're banning things like education in, doing private tutoring in like coffee shops or in homes. And now they're going after the so-called like nannies who teach, and saying that all these loopholes, they're going to come out with regulations to stop that. And parents are, I haven't met a single parent that's happy with this. Most parents are very frustrated by all of this. There's a lot of issues that go along with it. However, the kids, if you ask, I got friends of mine who have kids about this age, and you ask them, what do you think about this? And they freaking love it, of course, because everybody like, hey, I don't have to go to a training center on Saturday and Sunday to learn physics and math and English. I can go play basketball. I can go play video games. Of course, they are going to limit the video game use for these kids as well. So they're putting all of the, they want to put all of the burden of all of this back into the public schools. And there's a lot of support. Most parents seem to be supporting this endeavor. They want to see this happen, but at the same time, there's a lot of trepidation in the market. They're worried that they're not going to be able to give their kids the leg up that they traditionally have been giving them, and paying a lot of money to do so. So who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? They've announced things like this in the past, by the way. There's always an article out there about them banning tutoring and coffee shops and stuff like this, and it never has taken. But this time it seems a little bit different. This time is the real deal, because the training centers are closing. Now, whether or not that shifts all of the students to black market private tutoring, which everyone assumes is going to happen, everyone assumes, because the demand is so high. The demand has not gone away. It's still there. But now you've taken all legal ways of doing this. You can't, if you're a foreign teacher in another country and you want to teach children in China, you can't do that. If you're a teacher in China and you want to teach online, you can't do that. So it's a big deal. Yeah. Okay. Is that it for the photos? I think I'm done with the photos. Yeah, pretty much. Here. Oh yeah, I showed you that. I'm going camping, guys. Woohoo! All right. Shameless self-promotion. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and all that kind of stuff, and buy me a coffee or support me on Patreon if you'd like. I currently have 4 Patreons and make $29 a month. I don't put a QR code up on my videos. I don't ask you to like, comment, and subscribe in my videos, and I never will. This is the only place where I actually say, look, if you are looking to support a creator in the future, I'm not asking you to support me, but if you have a desire to do that in the future, think of me. Okay. Robert Cole says, thank you for your review. If you have time, I would Be fascinated if you would do a walk about the Park Plaza and Seaport City. I'm still very keen to see how they have turned out. I left in December 2019. Okay, good. Seaport City in Xiaolan. Is that the one you're talking about? That's the tall building in Xiaolan that they were building back in the day. It opened around 2019. I have been there. I went to a wedding there. It was in one of my China random videos. It's just a big mall. There's a new Hilton, there's a Hampton Inn there, I think it is. Yeah, by the bus station. Yeah, the one in Xiaolan. Yeah. Okay. I don't know if I can make a full video out of it, but it's because it's just a giant mall, but it is a beautiful complex. They did a great job with it, and it's definitely the centerpiece of the town of Xiaolan. So I haven't been to Xiaolan in a while. I recently talked with an old buddy of mine, and feel really guilty for not spending enough time in Xiaolan. Okay, so we'll close all these out. Share my life. Okay, let's go to the news. Not much in way of news today. Well, that's not it. Where is it? Here it is. Affordable air taxi travel expected to enter commercial use. Where? In 3 years. Geely has one of these. I know a lot of companies, a lot of startup companies are trying to do this. If you're a rich guy and you want to take a helicopter from point A to point B in America, it's pretty common. Well, not common. If you're rich, it's common, I guess. But here in China, if you're a rich guy and you want to take a helicopter from Hong Kong to Guangzhou or Shenzhen to Foshan or whatever, it takes a lot of planning and permissions and permits and everything. So to have air taxi in China seems to me it's got a lot of hurdles it needs to jump through to make it happen. I'm not saying it won't happen because there's an awful lot of investment, and the technology going into this is really, really cool stuff. I went to an experience center in Guangzhou maybe a year and a half ago. I just stumbled into it, and it was some startup, and they started explaining. It was really, really awesome. Affordable. That's the key word. Short distance travel by air is expected in China in 3 years. Time as a new electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft, which brings urban air mobility to reality, has entered its testing phase and is expected to enter commercial use around 2024. The aircraft, named the E-20, is a pure electric 5-seat tilt rotor, 1 pilot and 4 passenger, which is designed cruising speed of 260 kilometers per hour with a maximum design range of 200 kilometers. So it's a giant drone. It's a giant drone to take you from here to there. Shanghai TCAB Technology Company. The wingspan equivalent to the diameter of a small helicopter rotor, permitting the eVTOL aircraft to make one of the smallest helipad infrastructures on existing high rises without a runway. So, Morgan Stanley estimated the market for urban air mobility could hit $1 trillion by 2040, with the Chinese market accounting for a quarter of that amount. $1 trillion industry just in urban air mobility. Morgan Stanley predicts it could. Nice use of the modal there. According to Jiang, the first application scenario for the aircraft will be low-altitude tourism with a tourism city or Shanghai's suburbs as the first option. Yeah, that makes sense. As a tourism thing, instead of a helicopter, you go on a little drone flight around the Pudong area or something like that. Right? The design of the aircraft makes it easy to take off and land vertically from skyscraper rooftops, standard helipads, and lawns. Cool. Bring it. Men in China turn to plastic surgery to increase odds at success. We've talked about this before. It's all about women going to South Korea to have plastic surgery done. Men are doing it too. And it's kind of goes in line with that, what do they call it? Shaosan Ro, is that it? Yeah, the fresh meat thing, the so-called sissy men in China, kind of getting a little bit of a beat down in Chinese media. They're everywhere. I mean, in my elevator, there's one of these boyish looking guys. I know he's older. He's like almost 30, but the dude looks like he's 13. And when one poster, he's selling glasses, and they're eyeglasses, but they're these giant, like bug-eyed glasses. And in the poster on the other side of the elevator, he's selling KFC. So, but yeah, they are. It is a huge industry here to do. And people believe, a lot of young men, just like young women, believe that if they get all this work done, that they will make more money. Most of them are in some kind of like live streaming, or they're vloggers or social media. But there are other people who are working in finance or sales that are getting this done. So it's not just women who are having this done. It's increasingly more and more men. And I know it. Interesting. Okay. Great question. Thank you, Ricky. Appreciate that. Rick Lee, not Ricky, Rick Lee. To be honest with you, I have not been to many places in China. I know it seems like it because I make a lot of videos, but most of China I have not seen. I mean, this summer I did a lot of traveling. I went to Zhengzhou, Hangzhou, Ningbo, Shanghai, all over Guangdong, Yangshuo. Yeah, I did a lot of traveling this summer, but China is really, really large. And I'd be 100% honest with you, there are bloggers out there that do a hell of a lot more traveling than me, because my life is here in Zhongshan and I have a life to live. Now, this summer, because I wasn't working, I could travel a lot. But when the term starts, I am here and I won't be going anywhere until Spring Festival. So I'll be making a lot of videos around here. I have a lot banked from the summer that I'll be releasing in time from other parts of China. But this is my travel time. And then, the fall term is my work time. And then Spring Festival, I get 2 months that I'll do some more traveling, God willing. And then the spring term is more work time. Focus. Of all the cities that I've been to in China, my favorite city, aside from Hong Kong, Macau, Shenzhen's pretty good. I like them for different reasons. I really like Shanghai, but I've only scratched the surface of what Shanghai has to offer. So, Hangzhou was pretty nice. They were right. Hangzhou, I think people blew it up in my head that it was going to be an amazing, like super amazing city. And it was an amazing city, but I think my expectations was just a little higher than what I got. Mostly because my experience at Alibaba was less than thrilling. And so I think that kind of ruined it. But the Westlake area people told me that I would be disappointed by the Westlake area because it's so hyped. But I was actually really impressed by the Westlake area, and I loved it. You would go to Hangzhou just to have access to the Westlake area on the weekends. But I also know that talking with some of the people who live there, that Hangzhou has a lot to offer on the outskirts of the city itself that I didn't get to check out. I think Zhengzhou is one of these massive metropolises that is just halfway built. I know there's a lot of history there and everything, but it seemed like half the city's under construction there. So I'd like to. I mean, I had a great time in Zhengzhou, but I'd like to go back maybe in the next couple of years and see it again. Great question. I like Shanwei a lot. Shanwei's a good city. For me, it's got to be Zhongshan, really. I know Zhongshan is not on everyone's hit list. I mean, it's not a place you come for tourism. And I'm biased because I live here and I've got the city, I know the city so well. I love traveling and I love seeing these other places, and I tell everybody this, but when I come back to Zhongshan, I feel like I'm coming home because the people are so wonderful here. I love Zhongshan people. And it's not just Zhongshan, it's Jiangmen, which is a neighboring city. It's Shunde. It's, this whole area just, it feels homey to me. It's just, I feel comfortable here. Yeah. Yeah. There's some great cities throughout Guangdong. I was really impressed by Zhaoqing, which is about an hour and a half, 2 hour drive to the west of here. It's a smaller city, but I also like that city a lot too. And I've been there many times. Yeah. Good question. Seriously, I thought it was for penile extension. Japanese having such a hang up. Snarky made a video recently. It was a funny little video. He says, he talks about size, and it's exactly what you think it is. And he comes out and he says, "Yeah, today I was in the city and I saw a dude's." Oh, Snarky, if you're watching, man, I love your videos, dude. It's just funny. Niam Pao. Sissy gun. Oh, I've heard that before. Yeah, that's right. China is a huge country and it's hard to see it all. That's why, I'm a huge fan of Jayo. Matt is I've never met him in person, but we've chatted on many occasions, and I am a big fan of his because I think of all the people who are making videos about China. I know he's an American now, but he has seen the most of this country, and so it's hard when you talk to him and you tell him, "Hey, I'm going to go to this one place," and he says, "Oh yeah, I was there. I've been there twice." He's like, yeah, I've been to Xiamen. I didn't get to see much of Xiamen City. I was only there for a couple of days, and I spent all my time on the island, Gulongyu Island, I think it's called. I love the island. I was just exploring the island for a couple of days, and so I would love to go back to Xiamen and see the city itself, because I did not see enough of it, and I have heard that most definitely. Yes, it is. You know what else? The West Lake in Huizhou is also underrated. It's not nearly as, I mean, it's a tiny little lake park in the city, but Huizhou, I've been spending a lot of time there. I actually like Huizhou a lot. I like the city. Have you been to Xi'an? No, I haven't. This summer I was supposed to go Beijing and Xi'an. That was like the thing I told everybody. I'm going to Beijing and Xi'an, because I want to go to Huashan. I want to see, the Terracotta Warriors. I want to do all that history stuff. And I want to go to Beijing and go to Universal Studios and see the Great Wall. I still haven't done any of that stuff. So there's so much I haven't done in China. And it's frustrating because I had plans to do that this summer, but then I was invited to Hangzhou. I was invited to Zhengzhou. I had all these other things that just happened, and it took up all of my time. And I was talking to Mona about this because we were supposed to have a summer of fun, like a lot of time off, and it didn't come to fruition. It got sucked up with these last minute projects that I've been working on for this channel. And not just for this channel, but other projects that I've been involved with the here in Zhongshan. So my summer just kind of went away, and I'm a little worried because when I go back to teaching, it's going to take up a lot of my time on the week. And am I going to be able to do it all? I don't know. Okay. All right, back to the news. A couple more, and then I got to get off because we're at an hour now, and I don't want to be up too late, guys, because I still have to practice my speech for Tuesday morning. Okay, self-driving bus to be trialed in 6 areas of Guangzhou, and I brought this one up because this is a Yutong bus. Guangzhou has approved a self-driving trial project. These are getting approved all over the country. Proposing that self-driving bus will be trialed in 6 areas. It'll be the largest operational project of intelligent connected vehicles in China, larger than the one in Zhengzhou, which is also a big one. As stated, the project 50 self-driving buses will be distributed onto 6 routes, respectively, running in Zhujiang Newtown. Wow, they're going to be in Zhujiang Newtown? They're going to be in the center of town. Wow, they're going to be everywhere. A series of standards and assessments will be set to ensure safety, and meanwhile, well-trained safety officers will be in the vehicle to inspect the driving situation. Yeah, they even though they don't have a driver, there's going to be someone there to make sure it's safe. Um, Part of the plan is that the accident rate of self-driving buses will be 90% lower than that of traditional buses. Wow. 90% lower is what they're claiming. A post-80s couple renovated a 20-year-old house to create a simple natural home, 100 square meters for their $2. This is a villa. Yeah, I saw this one. I thought it was really cool. This is just a lot of angles in this one. Yeah, I just thought that this kind of very squared off, minimalist, but yet that double material of natural concrete and metal all coming together. This is my favorite combination of stuff. It's just a beautiful living room. So this is an old house that they've renovated to look ultra modern. I think it just looks great. I had to share that. I just saw it. Look, it works. You got a plug there you can put anything there, but they decided to put a little bird there. Yeah, it works. It's not big. Love the kitchen. Again, the little kitchen island that extends into the main dining table. So it's all part of like one unit. It's not a separate area. Yeah. Boy, I really dig this one. The bedroom. Yeah, it's just one little picture of the bedroom. It's kind of weak. Billy, I really do hope that self-driving technology leads to fewer traffic accidents around the world. Humans are not as great at driving as we think we are. No, we're terrible. And I learned that again today. This got a lot of attention. Pre-approval not required to enter China for U.S. nationals, meaning that I can now go back to America and see the family. And because I do have a temporary residence permit, so I am a resident of China. So that means it's in my passport. It's not a visa, it's a living permit. And because I have that, I can now freely travel between the United States and China. However, when I come back to China, I have to go into quarantine. So before, if I went back to America, I would have to, even though I have a residence permit, I would have to get permission letter to come back to the country. That's why I didn't go, because the permission letters were difficult to secure. It wasn't a guarantee, so I could have gotten stuck back home. Like that's a bad thing, right? It's of course, but that's why I didn't go. But now I can come and go as I please. But I have to stay in quarantine when I come back to China. I believe it's 2 weeks in isolation plus another 7 days in home isolation. And in Guangzhou, they are about to, I did it in my last live stream, they're about to open the quarantine facility. It's a 5,000 room facility where everyone who comes through the Guangzhou port at the airport will be going to that place. It didn't look too bad. It looked like a military's barracks, really, but you get your own little room and a little bed and a little bathroom, TV, and you're stuck in that room for 2 weeks. And that does not appeal to me. Little by little. In addition, you can get they have opened up the Hong Kong Macau border, so we can go to and from Hong Kong, or we can go to Hong Kong, excuse me. Up to 2,000 people from the mainland per day, which is what they announced this week, can go with no quarantine. You can just go right in. However, for me, if I want to come back into the mainland, I have to go into quarantine. So even if I want to go to Macau or Hong Kong for the day, if I try to come back, I'm stuck in quarantine for 2 weeks. So I can freely go without pre-approval permission, but I have to be alone for 2 weeks. Not allowed to leave. So we're still waiting for those requirements to drop. And it's strange because I do know some Chinese people who can come and go across that border a couple times a week with no quarantine. And I don't know how they do it, but they do it. But for me, That's not going to happen. So it says entry by foreign nationals holding valid Chinese residence permits have 3 categories, are not required for pre-approval. Okay, please take the test. Yeah, you still have to get tested a lot, constantly being tested, and show that before you can come in. And that is it. Yeah, dude, we can go home. You just have to plan it. A buddy of mine went back to Canada. He went back. I think he was in quarantine in Canada, and then he took care of his family stuff, and then he came back to China. Was in quarantine in China, so he had to invest a month of his life to make that trip just in isolation. So you have to decide: is it worth it? Is it worth the time? Is it worth the money to do it? All right. Any final questions out there? If not, I'm gonna call it a night. It is now 11:30. I have to get up early and start my day. I'm going to practice my speech a little bit more, try to commit it to memory best I can. And then I'm gone for a week. I might try to get a video out. I am going to take my computer with me, but I'm hoping not to do vlogging editing and posting. I might do a live stream while I'm on the road. I've done that before. So we'll see if it hits me, but I will be filming everything. I got a lot to film, so I'm going to be banking a lot of raw footage, but you won't be seeing any vlogs coming out. When I come back, the vlogs you will see are walkabout of Hangzhou and the new Hangzhou Hotel, which ironically is the oldest hotel in Hangzhou. Beautiful, beautiful place right on the banks of the West Lake. Incredible. That'll be a long video, actually. I've got the Guzheng Lighting Town video that's in the can. That's a big, big project that I put together, as well as Walkabout Shaxi, and where I talk about the live streaming industry a little bit. That's coming out. I'm doing one on baseball. I already did one on baseball, but I'm doing my own focus. I'm doing my own production on baseball in Zhongshan and show you around some of the great baseball facilities they have here. I'd like to get that in sometime in the next couple of weeks before I go back to school. What else I got? I got a Dongfeng video. I did a review of a Dongfeng car. It's a terrible car. I'm sorry, but it's an older model of a Dongfeng's making good cars. You know, they got some good models out there, but the one I drove was just crap. It was not good. I'll do one for the Levita as well. A couple other car videos. The Shenzhen Auto Show is happening in a couple weeks. The auto show that I went to in Shenzhen was called it's like the Greater Bay Area Auto Show, and it was mostly the local dealers, but the Shenzhen International Auto Show is happening in a couple weeks. I will be attending that. So I got another auto show coming out, a couple hotel videos. I've got another food video coming out, some of the local restaurants. I'm currently working on Hamburger Hunt Part 3. God, I should have written them down. I don't have them written down. Yeah, I am watching that, Stanley. We talked about that earlier today. There's a new outbreak there. We're going to be watching it closely because I will be in the Xiaolan area this weekend. So if we're hoping it gets clamped down, they usually do a pretty good job of clamping down on these little minor outbreaks. So we are watching it. We're watching the typhoon that was going to be hitting that side of China as well. Looks like it's going to pass to the east of Taiwan and head up the coast a little bit. So we're going to dodge a bullet on that one. But like everything in the world for the last couple of weeks, you roll with the punches, right? So if indeed that outbreak spreads a little bit, the one in Fujian, then we will head west towards Maoming as opposed to go east. But we talked about it. It looks like it's going to be okay for now, but anything can happen in the next couple of days. Thank you all very much for joining me. I will see you all again. Happy 50th wedding anniversary to my mother and father. 50 years marriage. Their anniversary is September 11th. So everyone's talking about the obvious on September 11th. I want to give you guys something else to talk about and celebrate. So I love you guys, and congratulations on 50 years. And I love the family. It was great to see everybody again today, and I hope I can come home soon and give you guys a big hug. Take care, everyone. Good night.